Ha, yeah, y'all know what time it is. So just sit back and relax because the show's about to start. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Down to Earth Talk, real life people, real life talk. We are here to encourage, build, and expose the good in the world. That good includes you. We want to bring some joy into the midst of your life's day, even if it has challenges. And joining with me today is Danny Eley.
Hello, hello.
And
who are you?
I am Chris Cheek. Hi. And with us today, we have Doreen Ivery.
Hello, everyone.
We are having some serious technical difficulties. Like some of you got emailed a link that might not be up, and then you're situated over here. Some of you might be watching on Facebook, and the link got changed there. We're just having some technical stuff. So Sherry is also having some technical issues out there in Georgia, which I'm sure is a more common occurrence than out here in California, like Tech City, right? But we're just having some technical stuff. So Sherry may be here. She may not. We'll see. If she's not, she's going to be in the chat talking away with us. We're excited because this is going to be a really good episode. I was just telling you guys before we started that anytime you have challenges like this, where you're trying to get everything going and everything's working against you, it's normally means because it's going to be a positive,
Outcome.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because a lot of times we're doing these feeds with several of us in
3-4
spots.
different feeds.
Yeah. And
when we bring it all together, that's
like,
where we're having the complications.
And it's like, okay. So,
but we wanted to bring Doreen to you today because she is, can I read your bio?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to read your bio. Doreen Ivery has worked for San Bernardino County for 25 years, over 17 years of experience as social worker. Doreen currently serves as the mentoring resource specialist with the Children's Network and chairs the San Bernardino County Mentoring Task Force. That's a lot. So really quick, before we get into the holiday resource list, the information we want to get to everyone today, how did you get into social work? What was it that got you into this field?
Well, initially, when I first started working for the county, I was with Transitional Assistance Department as an eligibility worker, determining eligibility for food stamps and cash assistance, Medi-Cal. So when I was working with them for 8 years, I really felt like that was an area that I really wanted to go into as far as a helping profession to really uplift and empower the challenged families that are in our communities. So
that's cool.
Thank you.
We need more people to care about more than just them and themselves, right?
Right.
That we need more people to reach out and care about their neighbors and care about other people. I mean, that's why we're in the profession that we're in with ATAP. We're, helping people every single day. And we're actually broadcasting right now from if we turn the camera around the room, you'd see a whole set of clothes over there. You'd see food over there. You'd see household items over there. You'd see some computers over there. This is one of our resource centers and where we're helping people on a daily basis. There's just something about San Bernardino County. You guys are so accessible. And I really appreciate that because we work in a lot of different counties. Yep. All over California and out in Georgia. And it seems like there's the resources that are available in San Bernardino. There just seems to be what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like a willingness. It's more about the good of the people rather than somebody specifically getting the recognition.
Right.
And I mean, I remember, what was it? It was a year ago almost when I went to you had the mentoring task force, just kind of an informational meeting. And I remember sitting, I was not expecting to go into a room with 50 plus people that were all looking to help with mentoring in the community, which was just great to see.
Right. You attended the one of our regional collaboratives where we were basically focusing on what the status of mentoring was in the community.
Yeah.
Throughout San Bernardino County. So you attended that one that was here in San Bernardino, and I really appreciated your attendance and your feedback and input.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, Chris, it was great seeing so many people like with one intention, right? Which is mentoring youth. That is a topic for a different show, though. We're going to talk about mentoring because there's a lot in mentoring, and we're going to talk about that later. But today we're talking about the holiday resource list. Now, I want to say the last 6, maybe even 8 years, I know we have received the holiday resource list, and we've been able to give it to our families that we work with. I remember when I was first talking about coming on the show, I was like, oh, let's put you back towards, like Thanksgiving time. And you're like, no. We need to do this way before then.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, starting October, I guess, yeah, we do. Because I remember last year I opened up the list and I was like, wait a second, there's stuff for Halloween on here that I didn't even see.
So much of the resources and events that are being offered by especially the cities have such a early sign up time frame that if we waited to send these out until the month of November, the sign up is already passed.
Right.
So we want to be able to gather as much of the information about the events and resources before those dates are already passed to really get the word out to the public.
So talk to us about the resource, like the resource list. How did it start?
Well, like you said, I believe it was 2010 was the first one that I had put together. At that time, I was a social worker with Children and Family Services and already working with our new initiatives units that really did a lot of community outreach and development with our community partners. Initially, the reason I started putting it together was to provide a resource for our social work staff.
Okay.
Because year after year, our families who are in need, our foster families, a lot of our kinship families because we have so many relatives that are taking care of their grandkids, their nieces, nephews that are also involved in the foster system. Just so many needs out there for those families that I initially just compiled all this to be a resource that I could hand to our staff and that they could utilize to direct their families to the available resources. As the years went by, I thought, well, I'm working so closely with the community. We really shouldn't be just hiding this all under a bushel, So I really did a lot of outreach to all of our community partners, as well as our faith-based community, to really get a well-rounded list of offerings throughout the county that could be compiled and not only, given out to county departments, but the community in general. So all of our community partners would benefit from it as well, and they could pass it on to their families.
Right. I know that we've definitely appreciated it over the years. I mean, there's been countless times where, especially closer to the later holidays, where food is a big thing. Where we've been able to go, okay, look, we got this happening, so get over there,
From what I've experienced, there's the supply and it's there, and there's a need, but it just wasn't getting connected to the right people.
Right. That was one of the issues. Yes.
Because that's something that I've kind of seen is with the supply and the need, and all three of us get to be kind of, I would say, plumbers. Because if you think of it as the water is flowing or the supply is flowing, here's the supply and this is the family that needs it, and we can help kind of bridge that and bring it together. And so it sounds a little bit like the resource list or the people that you've coordinated with, you've been able to kind of help keep the water flowing.
Yes. Pretty much every year we would identify some different area that we really wanted to branch more out into. Initially we had just started with the Thanksgiving food basket baskets and the free Thanksgiving dinners and the turkey giveaways and the Christmas baskets and toy giveaways. Well, there's so much more going on
Right.
that can be of benefit to our community. I wanted to be able to also have our families be able to utilize it as a resource to really grow their family
Mm-hmm.
as far as their relationship buildings and memories. And that's why we started doing the trunk or treats
Right.
and the harvest festivals and that sort of thing starting in October. And then just working through November and into December, we wanted to give a centralized resource that families could use to identify free and really minimal cost activities that they could do with their children.
Yeah.
That's when we started including like the Christmas parades, tree lighting ceremonies, pictures with Santa, you name it, those type of things.
See, what's great, I mean, this is so timely. And it wouldn't seem like it. When we were sitting October 5th, right? We're like 26 days away from Halloween, and it would seem like, oh no. But I walked into Walmart the other day.
Let's
it was-
not get started.
No, it was
Not even get
Christmas.
started.
I walked into Santa's like workshop there. Like it was
Yeah.
Christmas time already in Walmart. I'm like, and I love Christmas. So I'm like, yeah. And my wife was like, calm down. Like we were having a deep discussion. We walked into those doors. We walked in the back and I saw all the Christmas trees and the Christmas lights and the blow up Santas. And I was just like, and she's like, are you paying attention? I was like, no, I can't. Like, this is so great. And so it's perfect timing, especially because one of the things that you're here today to really help get is information to make sure that it's included in the list, correct?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
so that we can, because Chris here has a heart for people, and so he's going to put this thing together, and maybe he's, put it together for a couple of years, and he gets word of mouth out, but really to make a impact, he hasn't included it in the holiday resource list. There's people out there that are putting these things on, and we want to make sure that people are directed to them, because most of the time these activities, obviously for the outreach focused ones, they're wanting to bring people in, and you can, I mean, churches can do this, any organization, faith-based, non-faith-based, any organization can be added to the list so that the people come in. And then the great thing about this is, I mean, our ATAP centers, we have our harvest party in October, we have our Thanksgiving potluck the week before Thanksgiving, and then we have our holiday breakfast, pancake breakfast. Yeah. Yeah. In December. And those three events, and then our spring fling normally in April, those four events are our biggest attended events. And what that creates is an opportunity for us to connect with the people that we're trying to reach, so that we can connect them in year round to the services that are available to them. And so if you're watching this, if somebody emailed you over this video and said, hey, you got to check this out because you got this event coming up, you got to get this listed, and you're in San Bernardino County, how do people get in contact? How do they get added to the list?
Like I said, now I'm with Children's Network. I've been with Children's Network for about a year and a half now. A couple years before I did leave Children and Family Services to move over to this department, Zenaida Brown, who is the Children and Family Specialist with 211 San Bernardino, close friend of mine, and we just work very well and collaborate together on a lot of different projects. She had agreed over the past couple years that she was going to be helping me as far as distributing the list out. As I transitioned over to Children's Network, she agreed to actually take over as far as compiling everything together. I still do a lot of the promotional and gathering a lot of the resources, but I just get to send them over to you, Zenaida. So she does regular updates. Usually on average, we do like weekly update on the list throughout the end of December. The first list for 2017 is still in the works, should be ready within the next couple weeks. But just to give you an idea of what it looks like, this is from 2016, so it's a different format than what you're used to seeing before. We started this format in 2016. She not only puts it together, she actually does two lists. She compiles it in an alpha list as far as city goes,
Okay.
and as far as what type of an event it is. She has both lists going consecutively. She also has a info sheet if anyone is interested in signing up their event for entry into the list. So you just enter all of this, you scan it, send her a copy of a flyer for the event too, if there is one.
So where would someone send it?
It would go directly to Zenaida. Her email is xbrown@ieuw.org. Her phone number is 909-980-2857, extension 260. I would email her.
Now that
Entered
form, where can that form be found?
Well, she has it that she can send out to anyone. All they need to do is email her and she can send them the flyer.
And we'll make sure to include in the notes here on the description on this video that we put your email address and also her email address.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So people will be able to just go to wherever the information is. Because the one thing I forgot to tell everyone is we're excited. Last Saturday, Chris, did you know this? The last Saturday was an International Podcast Day.
No, I did not know that. I was not aware.
And so we announced on International Podcast Day that we are now on iTunes, Google Play, Intune Radio. We're in talks with being on iHeartRadio, which is really exciting in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. You can see us on Facebook. You can see us on YouTube. We're everywhere. We have a couple of people. I can see that at least from where we're at right here, we have a couple of people watching. And then in the comments, we have one lonely comment. And so maybe you guys are watching on Facebook and you need to switch over to the YouTube page and join in the conversation in the comments. It's actually my wife. She says, hi, everyone.
Could I see the 2016 part? Just a couple things. And I know this is different information because it's a new year, but just kind of looking at this, so it looks like I'm looking at harvest parties and Thanksgiving dinners, toy distributions. There's just a lot of good resources here. And as I can see, like you said, it's got the different cities of where. Now, do a lot of these events, are they just show up and go to them, or are they events where it's like I need to go and personally sign in, register?
A lot of the events do require registration ahead of time. We try to include as much of that information as possible in the list, and just make sure that you do contact the sponsor for the event to do the registration and everything. Myself and Zenaida do not register you.
Do not email. The email address is below.
So how does one go about getting the list? We should do dun 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 the list, right? Like, how would someone I've got a need and you've got the list, how do I acquire the list?
Well, the list gets distributed. Oh boy, I can't even talk. Distributed to all of the various county departments, as well as city departments. You can find it on any of the Board of Supervisor.
Yeah, we get a copy. I know we get a copy of it. We put it on our website. It gets distributed
everywhere.
Okay.
But the quickest way to get the most updated list, dial 211 and they'll know what you're talking about and they can shoot it out to you right there without even needing to speak with Zenaida. So one of the things I wanted to add to, because I mentioned that each year we seem to be developing and adding more to the list. This year, we're actually adding opportunities to volunteer for events.
That's awesome.
And different donation opportunities, because there's a lot of events that, you know, they're putting it all together, but there's that building portion where they're really asking for donations. They're asking for volunteers to help with the event that day. So we're including that too, as far as opportunities for people to volunteer. Just a plug for mentoring. When you're looking for different activities to do with your mentees, this would be a great opportunity to volunteer to help, like a event that's giving out turkey dinners, to go with your mentee, stuff those bags with food, and, you know, you're building that bond with that youth, as well as building their connection with the community, and just increasing their capacity as a responsible community member.
Yeah.
So
A lot of good stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of good things. So you need to get the list. In the Inland Empire, you need to get the list. If you don't have it, get it, man. And one of the things with Down to Talk, Down to Earth Talk.
There you go. I'm gonna edit that.
I'm
later.
gonna give Danny the list.
Just start.
I've got a list for you.
Now it's staying in. I'm not editing that out now.
Down to Earth Talk is exposing and revealing some of the good things that are going on, and there are good things going on.
Yeah.
Different carnivals, different dinners, just all these different events are, I mean, and it's good people that are doing it, right? Like, you can talk about it, but then you got to do it, and that's what's happening through this. So,
you know, it's all about paying it forward. A lot of our underserved population in our county, you know, they're thankful to receive these resources, to be able to locate the resources and be able to benefit from them. But a lot of times they don't necessarily feel like they are really part of the community.
Right.
Because they're standing in line to get the turkey, that they're not really part of the process of building the community.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that that really isn't the case, that
Right.
they can, just as well as anybody, be able to be available to go out and volunteer to help with these events, as well as receiving the benefits from it. Just an example, my friend Terrence Stone with Young Visionaries has their turkey giveaway, over 1,000 turkeys and food baskets they're giving away on November 18th. At Community Action Partnership in San Bernardino. Now they need volunteers to pack these grocery bags. They need volunteers the day of to help with crowd control and registration and you name it. So, you know, become part of your community.
Right.
You know, become involved. And this is for everybody. If we, you know, come together as a community, we're going to be stronger. We already say San Bernardino strong. So let's, you know, demonstrate that to the world. So
we have a couple comments. We got Channy. She says hi. Nimi's still in there.
Channy?
She just finished with her audition.
good job.
And then Miss Sherry actually made it into the chat, and she said, "I'm so grateful for all you do, Miss Doreen." And then she asked a question: do you know if people have to sign up for CAP's Thanksgiving event on November 11th?
No.
We're going to excuse Sherry from not being in here earlier when we said not to direct questions to Miss Doreen about registration.
the list is still a working list right now. I haven't actually seen a current copy yet. And I'm actually not aware of that particular event, but I would direct anyone to contact that agency directly for any more information.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works.
So there's the answer to that. You know what? I sitting here talking about this, I can't help but kind of think of tradition, right? And I'm not the biggest traditional individual.
I am.
But at the same point, yes.
I'm
yes.
all about building a memory.
We're really excited. We've got a new center coming on and up in LA. And yesterday when we were talking to the management, they were like, oh, there's a park right down the road. And we were like, okay. And then they gave us the name of the park, right, Diddy?
Yeah. Magic Johnson Park.
And I'm like, Diddy and I were leaving, and I was like, you really like that, don't you?
I was like, we're driving by right now. We're going there.
But dealing with tradition, and that's just, I brought that up for nostalgia for Danny. But dealing with tradition, there's a chance for people to make volunteering. You know, sometimes some of us need to receive things, but at the same time, some of us are in a position where we can give, and we can give things, and giving up your time,
even give and receive at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yes.
I remember though, I was doing some marriage counseling with a couple that was a blended family, and the wife just looks at me, and she had been brought up in a way that, you know, just wasn't healthy. And she looked at me and my wife, and she's just like, they were a new couple, and now they've got a blended family, and they were approaching Christmas, and they were kind of saying, we don't know what to do. And she never even really liked like a winter holiday, because she's like, it's got so many bad memories. And I looked at her and I just said, well, it's time to establish some new traditions. She was mad at me for like a month. So mad at me. And yet at the same point, after all that kind of went through, she came back to me and she just said, you know what? We started some new traditions, and it was awesome, right? Like, because they were able to do that. And I know as Danny is, you know, are you still newlywed?
Still the first year. I think you're newlywed for a couple of years.
Yeah,
but we're still in first year.
So like Danny and Needy are newlyweds, and they get to establish new traditions,
Yeah.
or even establish a tradition.
This
right?
last Easter, we were like, you know what? We don't want to do the typical like Easter dinner. So
Oh,
let's
this
start
is
a
great.
tradition now. And so we decided we were going to make homemade pizza on Easter. And that's our tradition. We make homemade pizza and we watch the Snoopy Easter story. And that's going to be our tradition for the rest of our lives.
And if you know Danny, he'll do it.
Yeah.
He'll watch Snoopy.
Yeah.
It's
I already got the DVD on Amazon because we couldn't find it streaming anywhere. So.
Oh my goodness. So anyways, with all the tradition of, I mean, come on, we've got a calendar, right? Everybody's calendar generally is about the same.
Yeah.
And there's seasonal events, or there's different events that happen, and we can kind of get and be a part of different traditions, or establishing different things that we can do to help people or whatever.
And really those, I mean, traditions, memories, building those things is really what establishes a strong community tie, right? Because there's stuff in my city that we do every year. We used to do every year. We had a guy that was like a famous Christmas tree light guy, right? He was on all those TV shows, and the Christmas tree light wars. Well, he eventually became the mayor, and so then he didn't do it anymore because he's a little bit distracted with other things. But every year, people from around our city would go to this guy's house, and he would, for I think basically the day after Thanksgiving until Christmas, he took 2 days off. The rest of the time, he opened up his house. He served people cider and cookies and brownies and everything. And people would just drive by from everywhere, all over, drive by and look at the house. And then he'd invite them to come inside. They'd walk around inside. And that was a tradition that a lot of people did. Now people are mad because he's not doing it anymore because he's the mayor. So,
But also think of all the parades that take place.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, this is what we like.
Yeah.
This is what our family does.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those things, create some things, you know, come up with some different things, like bacon pizza, right? Like, come up with some things. You can, you just think outside the box a little bit.
And I think one of the things that is really cool about this is just the volunteering aspect. Like, volunteering, it's such a great thing. Like, it does so much for you on the inside. You feel so good when you're able to give back, when you take yourself out of the position of just being, like we said earlier, me, myself, and you give into something that's bigger than you. Like, you feel good. And so I love that you guys have included that element of the list this year, that people can build a tradition by going and serving.
Yeah.
So this was a great show, guys.
Yeah.
We thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone in the chat. Thank you, Channy. Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for everyone else that was watching or now listening.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
as you're taking your drive to work. And
We'll catch you later.
yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.